The design of the PlayStation 6 will be integral to its success, because $1,000 USD for a freaking PlayStation, and with Sony removing so much value from their console, this thing is going to be a pretty hard sell for a majority of people. But there's a solution. The design, the look, the feel of the PlayStation 6. You see, there's a subsection of people in the world that are the perfect customer. These people don't see value, they see aura. These are the people like the Counter-Strike 2 skin collectors, spending thousands and thousands of dollars on pretty colors and designs that could be deleted tomorrow. They're the same type of people that see the Steam machine, and they don't see the incredibly poor value. They see a tiny cube and something in their head switches on, forcing them to buy it. If Sony can nail down their design, doesn't matter how anti-consumer they are, these people will buy it. Alright, I might have been talking a bit too much crap, maybe a bit undeserved. At the end of the day, design sells, even if I think it's stupid. So I thought it'd be fun to look through the past console generations and then try and predict what the PS6 could look like, and then see if that design will sell or not. First, we got the PS1. This design is just goated. Alright, no one's gonna talk me out of this one. I love the little like indents they put everywhere. This giant circle, all these circular buttons. It looks so clean. The text, the logo, like this little zigzaggy thing. I don't know what this is, but when I look at this, all I think of is S tier. And yes, we're rating things now. Next, we got the PS2. What's interesting about the PS2 is that we see like this little ventilation system. You could see like the PlayStation 1 also had something like this, but on the PS2, like, see, they took it over to it and then they just inverted it for some reason. So this is probably like a trend we're gonna see, is they just take certain aspects from the previous consoles and then they're just gonna use it in the new ones. I think for the PS2 design, they really wanted to try and just smooth everything out. They took out all of the depth in it, and I think it just looks a bit worse, to be honest. They kind of put it all into this tiny piece here and then they just extended it out, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. But anyways, I think this design is like a B tier. Like, it's not the worst thing ever, but it exists. Now the PS3. This is a classic design. This is what I had growing up. I specifically had the PS3 Slim, so I never grew up with the fat PS3. This one is just like a weirdo machine. You can see it takes over some of the design elements from the PS2. They got like this weird wedge shape. I don't know what led them to make this. This feels like it would be horrible to engineer. Like, I don't know how I'd put anything in this machine. And I think it's kind of iconic, right? You see a wedge, you're like, that's the PS3. I think my favorite bit of the PS3 is just this Blu-ray drive. I love how it just kind of cuts into it and then you have like a slot for it. I think especially looks good on the PS3 Slim, but we're not rating that. I think it's like about an A tier. It's probably around a B tier, but I love it. Now the PS4. This is a classic design. All right. They took the PS3 and they were like, all right, we got to go back to the basics. See, the problem with the PS3 was kind of shit the bed on the generation. They got too greedy. So they're just like, okay, we got to bring back the consumer. So they went back with like the sharp design because they knew they needed to bring back people. So they went with a clean design. And I think this design works. I really like this light. It's definitely taken over from the power button here. So they took it over and just extended it like this. I really like the stacked design. It looks like you got like two consoles in one, but I do despise where these USBs are. This is horrendously bad. I don't know who thought this was a good idea, because it will get all your USBs stuck in here. But anyways, if I would rate this, I'd probably give it an A tier. Now we got the latest one, the PS5. This is the first design that they like made to be vertical. All right, I know this picture is vertical. Ignore that. No one did this. Even the logo is like sideways. But anyways, this is the vertical console. This is what Sony is just like, yes, this is the future. You could also see they really took some elements from like a jacket. You know, you got the white jacket on the outside, you got like the black suit inside. It just makes it look fancy, clean, futuristic. Okay, you could see this one really tries to take the elements from the console and put it onto the controller. The PS4 kind of had this with like the light bar and then like the same plastic, but this one, it really takes like all of the inspiration from the console onto the controller. We got like the black inside, then you got the lights that go out like this, and then you got like the white outside. Biggest thing I think, it's kind of just like a PS4. You know, you got the interior here and it's kind of here, but it's just extended so that you could actually access the USB ports properly. Then you have like the light here that got pushed over here. I think my favorite part is like these panels here. They can come off and then you can customize them and put whatever you want on them. I'm gonna give this an S tier. So now that I've gone through all of the consoles, let's try and predict what the PS6 will look like. So first, let's see what features that I think will 100% be included. First, these lights. These lights are just classic PlayStation. They're going to be included. Second, I think they're going to keep these panels because you just make free money by selling them. Third, they're probably going to remove this disk drive, unfortunately. Sony, they really want you to buy stuff on the store so that they could just steal as much money from you. But anyways, that's going to be like the three features you're most likely going to see. All right, so now that we got got the features, I think it'd be interesting to look at the leaked controller. All right, this controller, it's not the final design, of course, but I think this kind of has the elements of what we're gonna see in the PlayStation 6. First of all, it looks like an Ouya controller. I don't know if that was intentional, but it's really weird. But they're going for this like entirely buttonless digital design. You can see like there's no buttons on this controller. I think if they go with this, console's gonna fail. But what I want to look at is like these elements right here. You can see like how it kind of extends outwards like this into kind of like a weird diamond shape. I think this is kind of what the PS6 is gonna look like. Why? Because I think what they want to do is they want to like create a trophy where if someone buys it, they place it down and they'll be like, yes, I got rewarded for buying this console. That's what they want people to feel like. So that's why I think they're going to try and go for this weird design. I think it'll kind of look like this, like my expert drawing skills. I decided to make the thumbnail before I recorded this, and then I came across this stupid ass Xbox 720 like fake console. But this is kind of what I'm thinking they're gonna do. All right, we got the light bar in the middle, and then they got like a short bottom and then big top. Like I think this is gonna be even shorter, but yeah, this is what they're probably gonna go with. And then these are like the panels that you can take off. Like obviously it's gonna look a bit cleaner, a little better hopefully. But yeah, it's funny that I came across this image because this is like basically the design I'm thinking of. So now that we got the design, will it sell? I mean, that's a good question. I think it will. I mean, obviously, like if you give someone a trophy, their brain is gonna be like, oh my goodness, I'm rewarded for buying it. But if it ends up looking something like this and it's weird, Sony, wrap it up, buddy.